Welcome back, everyone. Video game developers have been trying to replicate basketball for gamers since the 1970s. There have been dozens, maybe hundreds of distinct games since, with each generation aiming to one-up the last for authenticity. Out of that console cage match emerged a clear winner, NBA 2K, made by Visual Concepts and first released in 1999. Last year's edition, NBA 2K16, sold more than 8 million units, a figure 2K17 is on pace to surpass. What's more remarkable than the business of video basketball is its cultural relevance among the players depicted on the screen. As 2K has become synonymous with NBA gaming, the line between the game and the sport is blurrier than ever.
The Minnesota Timberwolves select Karl-Anthony Towns.
There's a whole generation of NBA players who consider draft day only slightly more significant than the day they see themselves in the game.
What did it mean to you when you were finally part of the game?
Oh, I mean, it was amazing. I've been a huge fan of 2K as just a whole. For my whole entire life, it's been something that's been going along with me as they've expanded and gotten better. I've gotten better in basketball in my life, so it feels like a part of my childhood.
I saw y'all put my little like this.
In September, we found Rookie of the Year Karl-Anthony Towns and the Lakers' D'Angelo Russell working to present the best version of their virtual selves, lending their bodies to the science of motion capture, the process by which 2K collects the anatomical data that helps animate their avatars.
My thing is I grew up playing this game, so to actually really be on the game instead of creating my own self, it's just a blessing, you know. So I wanna have every move right.
The motion capture process, known as mocap at 2K's Bay Area studio, uses 148 high-speed cameras to grab data from subjects wearing special mocap suits, each equipped with 60 precisely placed markers. There's no hiding from mocap, which accurately registers the extraordinary explosion of elite athletes and the faint echoes of ability decades after a high school backup's prime.
So out here we're flooding our volume with infrared light. These beautiful sensors you got here are bouncing that light right back at the camera. That's producing the product we see here. So we're triangulating those markers to figure out your joint positions. This is your jump shot that we just took place earlier in the game. We're gonna take this data, we're gonna clean it, make sure there's nothing messy going on here that didn't happen in reality. You'll see at a few moments, a few of your markers drop out. We'll use some math algorithms to bring those markers back. We'll solve to a set of bones, and then those bones are gonna be in the game, and people are going to be able to see your beautiful jump shot.
They don't want to see that.
They do.
It takes 2K techs around 2 days to process about 400 animations. Each year, 2K creates around 7,000 different animations for a game that grows increasingly complex, varied, and realistic with each season.
This is how you fire up your teammates.
A gamer's options are seemingly endless. A game or a season, indoors or out, past or present, college or pro, the NBA or even EuroLeague. Or inhabit the fantasy life of a young baller from prospect to pro on and off the court. But the game's bread and butter is the almost eerily realistic NBA action.
We're just trying to replicate the real game. So whether it's defending a back cut or how somebody guards a screen or a dribble move.
Mike Wang and Scott O'Gallagher direct and produce gameplay at 2K. It's their job to keep it real and keep up with players like Steph Curry, whose shooting range shot holes in the game's algorithms.
When Steph gets hot, his range extends to like 35, 40 feet. That he doesn't just come out and just start bombing from 35 for no reason. Usually he's feeling good, he's feeling hot, and so those are the kind of things we worked into the system to replicate Steph. And so 2K17, we're pretty happy with how he's playing.
The real-life players are not only paying attention, they're talking 2K, occasionally even during NBA games.
Absolutely, this is something that will be talked about from everybody. Whether it be me or D'Angelo, you know, we could be on the court at any given time saying we're trying to get our 2K rating up.
What kind of feedback do you hear from NBA players?
It's mostly about the ratings.
I'm just trying to really get my NBA 2K rating up.
I'm aware of my 2K rating.
You know, I'm better at this or that than how you guys rate me, and that's the main thing, I'd say.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You know, some of the guys are a little bit hardcore, then they'll kind of approach us and say, hey, you know, I'm not doing this right, or I don't move right, but
which is great, because then we just say, hey, if you want to get fixed, come on in the mocap. We'll be happy to have you anytime.
Yep.
The game is also starting to have a practical impact on the league. Players and teams are starting to recognize how virtual hoops can help them prepare for the real thing.
We've had a couple of NBA partners contact us. They've actually said to us, can you set up some tools for us that take advantage of your game engine that we can use for analytics for our stuff? And that partnership of, well, it's cool that one of our NBA partners is saying to us, can you put together these certain rosters of these certain teams and actually run these simulations so we can see how these things net out? So they can actually look at it as a scouting tool or as a way to scout the other teams.
It's basically no different than an assistant coach. You're just charting stuff. So they ran this, so they run this set. In this formation that we added this thing called formation recognition this year. And that's the ability, like a common play in the NBA's horns, it's basically a 1-2-2 set. We had a lot of trouble guarding that. So then we got to make these, basically, we got to make the ones and zeros talk. So then I got to take this, chart it, take this design to an engineer who can make numbers talk. And it's a very difficult process. It takes us all year.
Can you scout with this game? Can you scout a real game? Can you scout a real player, an opponent?
Yeah, like if you can't shoot, if you can't shoot on 2K, then you can't shoot in real life. So
go under on the
like
screen.
We said, this is the most
let him shoot.
realistic sports franchise on the planet. So everything you see in 2K is a real scouting report of a real player.
Would you do it? I mean, if you know you're playing a certain team that night, you go play?
I have. So I know from 2K people's tendencies and what they're very good at. If you actually take the time to go to the substitutions and the depth chart of players in 2K and the roster and you press the L stick, you could really see how many attributes 2K takes into account for their rating. So it's just one of the most realistic games, and that's a reason why a lot of us use it as a scatter report kind of.
What would be the ultimate, I don't know, that you could get to, that you would watch either an NBA game or watch your game and say, we got it?
My dream, since I got into this industry in the first place, was I wanted to be able to pick up a controller and it to look exactly like it does on NBA TV, like it does on ESPN, like it does on TNT, and not be able to tell the difference.
And now the Timberwolves on the break, and the dunk by Towns.
And we're getting close, but we're still not there. And so we'll be doing this and going hard at it until we can get to that point.
Yeah, we've already started on 2K18.